Student, in this lesson we are going to discuss about chemical equilibrium. This lesson based on basic concept and equations in chemical equilibrium. Then you can apply those chemical equilibrium for the industrial purpose applications. What is equilibrium? As you know, in static equilibrium you can balance masses in order to prevent the movement. We call static equilibrium. When you are talking about dynamic equilibrium, there are moving particles or moving substance, but there is no net changes in the system. It's better to understand static equilibrium and the dynamic equilibrium using this example. Think about a water container. With the tap, you can turn off the tap, then the water level keep constant. Then we can say the water in this container has the equilibrium in the static equilibrium. When you have a tap on top of this container and you can turn on this tap, and also you can turn on the tap in the container in order to inlet and the outlet is same. In that point, total water level keep constant, but there are moving water molecules. In that condition, the water level of this container has a dynamic equilibrium. In a chemical reaction, as you know, reactants can produce products. However, there are some reactions we call reversible reactions. In that reversible reactions, reactants can form products and also products can form reactants. Therefore, in this kind of reversible reactions have two pathways, and this kind of reversible reactions can exist a dynamic equilibrium. Now, this kind of reversible reactions have a forward reaction which can produce products from reactants, and also the backward reaction. In a reversible reaction, delta G almost 0, and the activation energy of the forward reaction and the backward reactions are almost same. When a reaction becomes to the equilibrium stage, the forward reaction and the backward reaction rate become equal. At the time when the backward and the forward reaction rates are equal, then the equilibrium stage, there are no net change in the forms of reactants and the products. Therefore, the concentration of reactants and the products become constant at the equilibrium stage. As you can see in these two figures, you can understand when a reaction become equilibrium. Now let's discuss how to write down an expression for equilibrium constant. Consider the following equilibrium system. Here, capital A and B are the reactants and Wx are the respective stoichiometric number, and capital C and D represent the products, and Y, Z are the relevant stoichiometric number. Think about this is a reversible reaction, and at the equilibrium stage, this reaction in the equilibrium stage, you can write down Kc as in the given equation. Here, C inside the square bracket represent the concentration of C, and D inside the square bracket represent the concentration of D. Therefore, every substance inside the square bracket represent their concentrations, and the power value represent their relevant stoichiometric number. Therefore, you can calculate the Kc value using concentration of reactants and products that exist at the equilibrium stage. Here, what is the unit of this Kc value? Always you can write down every concentration value using unit mole per cubic decimeter or any other relevant concentration units. But when you apply this concentration here, power is Y for C and power is Z for D. Therefore, and the numerator is X, Y plus Z, and you can reduce W plus X. Therefore, you can take the unit of Kc value according to the equation. Therefore, Kc value units are changed according to the nature of that reaction. Now let's take one example to understand how to write down this Kc value. Here, nitrogen plus hydrogen into ammonia is a reversible reaction at 450 degrees of Celsius. Think about this reaction become an equilibrium. At the equilibrium stage, you can write down Kc in the form of ammonia concentration into the power 2 divided by nitrogen concentration and hydrogen concentration into the power 3 as given in this example. So, the unit of this Kc should be mole per cubic decimeter. 2 minus 3 plus 1. Therefore, this value is become minus 2. Therefore, you can write down the unit of this Kc value as mole minus 2 decimeter plus 6. Therefore, in this example, Kc is the value you can obtain using this concentration calculations, and unit is mole per cubic decimeter, mole minus 2 decimeter plus 6. Next, this is another example how to write down Kc, and this is another example. Therefore, you can write down Kc values for different equation. According to the equation, unit of this Kc value may be changed, and you can calculate the Kc by substituting your concentration value into the similar equation. As you discussed in previous slides, you write down as a equilibrium constant in a concentrations. Now we can consider the partial pressures to write down an equilibrium constant. We call this as Kp, or constant related to pressures. Therefore, this indicates the partial pressures of products to partial pressures of reactants. Ratio indicate the Kp value. There are relationships between Kc and Kp. In general, for a reaction involving gases such as this kind of common equation where A, B, C, D are gases and A, B, C, D simple letters indicate their stoichiometric numbers in the equation. Assuming that all the gases are exist in ideal behavior, we can write down universal gas constant, and we can derive another equation as P is equal CRT. C indicate the concentration. Using this derived equation, you can write down Kp, and you can substitute this P value into concentration values. Then you can obtain this kind of equation to interpret the relationship between Kp and Kc. Here Kp is equal to Kc inside the bracket RT into the power delta N. Here delta N indicate the stoichiometric number of product minus stoichiometric number summation of reactants. Therefore, the molecule change in the products to reactance we call delta N. In heterogeneous system, only the coefficients of the gaseous phases are counted. You can understand this relationship between Kc and Kp using this example. Consider the reaction sulfur dioxide and oxygen to form sulfur trioxide. You can write down Kc by using the concentrations of products and reactants, and you can write down Kp using partial pressures of products and reactants. Then, assuming ideal behavior, you can apply universal gas equation into this system, and you can derive new gas equation. P is equal concentration RT. Therefore, you can put every partial pressure in form of concentrations. Therefore, partial pressure of sulfur trioxide you can write down as concentration of sulfur trioxide and RT. So, therefore, in similar way you can write down all partial pressures using concentration equation. Therefore, when you write down Kp, you know that you can write down PSO3 into the power 2 divided by PSO2 into the power 2 and PO2. This is the Kp you can write down. So then when you apply the previous substitution using the given derived equation, you can substitute this every P value into concentration forms. Therefore, you can write down like this by applying every of the previous equation. You can apply this one into this point. Therefore, you can write down this kind of equation. You can take this RT parts into one side like this. Therefore, you have RT part. When you multiply and divide, you can take this RT into one side, and you can write down other concentration part into one side. Therefore, in this concentration part represent the Kc value. Therefore, you can substitute this one into Kc. Therefore, you can write down this equation Kp is equal Kc RT minus 1. This minus 1 is the delta N as we discussed in previous slide. There are several examples you can write down as shown in these examples. Next thing, when you are talking about Kc and Kp, you have to consider whether it is homogeneous or heterogeneous equilibrium. For a homogeneous equilibrium, as shown in these examples, all are gases. Then you can write down Kc and Kp as we discussed in previous slides. But in heterogeneous system, in the first example, only this has gas space, and the second one, this is solid, and only this one and chloride ions are in liquid phase. Therefore, you have to consider Kc and Kp separately. Let's discuss how to write down Kp and Kc for this kind of heterogeneous equilibrium. Consider this example. In here, calcium carbonate convert into calcium oxide and carbon dioxide at the 90 degree of Celsius. This is a reversible reaction. At the equilibrium stage, you can write down Kc as concentration of CO2 and Kp partial pressure of CO2. Why we can write down only this part? Because very important thing, when you write down Kc and Kp, you should know the concentrations of solids and pure liquids are constant. Therefore, when you write down Kc value for this equation, you can write down Kc as equal calcium oxide concentration and carbon dioxide concentration divided by calcium carbonate concentration. But this calcium carbonate concentration and calcium oxide concentrations are constant. Therefore, you can neglect these two concentrations and you can write down only using carbon dioxide concentration. Similarly, you can use Kp when you consider the partial pressures of solids or any liquids are negligible. Therefore, only pressure values of gases are considered for Kp. That is why we write down Kp as partial pressure of carbon dioxide. Discuss equilibrium for weak acid. Consider this example. Here HA is a monobasic weak acid. Monobasic means it produces only one H plus when it dissociates in the aqueous solution, and HA can dissociate in the aqueous solution into H plus and A minus. However, this dissociation not goes totally. Therefore, this is a reversible reaction, then partially dissociate into H plus and A minus. When you write down a Ka value, Kc value for this kind of weak acid, you can write down Kc is equal H3O plus concentration, or you can say H plus concentration and A minus concentration divided by HA concentration and H2O concentration. Here, as you know in previous slide, H2O concentration is a constant because it's a pure liquid. Therefore, you can neglect this H2O part and you can move this into this side, and you can write down as a Ka is a constant is equal H plus concentration A minus concentration divided by HA concentration. This Ka value of a weak acid indicates their acidity. If the Ka value is high, that means it is a acidic, and if it is a low Ka value for weak acid, it means it's a very low acidic. Another example you can write down for acetic acid. Acetic acid in the aqueous solution can dissociate into H plus and CH3CO minus, that acetate. So therefore, this is also weak acid, therefore not totally dissociate into H plus and acetate ions. Therefore, it has a Ka value. You can write down this Ka value as shown in this equation. In the Celsius 25 degree of Celsius, this value is around 1.8 into the 10 to the power minus 5 mole per cubic decimeter. Therefore, you can write down these Ka values and you can find out this data from literature data, what is the Ka value of a weak base. According to this literature data, you can understand whether it is highly acidic or very weak acidic according to the Ka values. Similarly, when you discuss equilibrium for weak bases, consider this example. B is a monoacidic weak base. That means B in the aqueous solutions can form one OH minus and again BH plus ions. When you write down Kc value for this kind of equation, you can write down Kc is equal BH plus concentration and OH minus concentration divided by B concentration and H2O concentration. Here also you can neglect this part and you can write down this in left hand side, and you can write down as a Kb. Kb indicate whether this base is how strong. Therefore, using Kb value of different weak bases, you can understand how strong this base. For example, you can write down equation for ammonia. So here ammonia in the aqueous solution can form ammonium salt and OH minus. When you write down Kb value for this kind of equation, you can write down like this. Here also you can refer any sources and find out what is the Kb value for ammonia. Okay, that is also you can understand how strong this ammonia as a base using Kb values. Next, let's talk about equilibrium of water. Water molecules can be dissociated as H plus and OH minus in the aqueous solutions. In every examples, I take H plus. It is similar to H3O plus. Therefore, when you write down as H plus or H3O plus are same. In the aqueous solution, H plus sometimes exists as H3O plus. To easy to write down or to balance this equation, I am writing as H3O plus. Here Kc for water you can write down like this. However, as you know, this H2O concentrations are constant, therefore you can neglect this part and you can put this H2O concentration is a constant, therefore you can add into the left hand side. Then you can write down this as Kw. Therefore, dissociation constant of water represented by Kw is equal to H plus concentration and OH minus concentration. At 25 degree of Celsius, this value is 10 to the minus 14 mole square and decimeter minus 6. That is the value at 25 degree of Celsius. This value is not changed in any condition. Only the temperature can change this Kw. Next, let's move to the solubility equilibrium. Consider AB salt. Here AXBY salt can dissolve in the aqueous solution as AY plus ion and BX minus ion. In the aqueous solution, this solid does not dissolve totally. For example, when you dissolve NaCl or table salt in water, you know they are totally dissolved. But when you put calcium carbonate like salt, when you dissolve in water, it does not dissolve totally. Therefore, we call those type of salts are partially dissolved or partially soluble in water. So therefore, solubility equilibrium we can consider only for partially soluble salt in water. You can write down Kc for this kind of salt as given in this equation. However, as you know, this AB solid is constant. Always their concentration are not changing. Therefore, you can consider this into left hand side and you can write down as a new constant as Ksp. Ksp, this Sp indicate solubility product. Therefore, every partially soluble salt has a solubility product. You can write down this solubility product using this common equation. Example, for lead chloride in aqueous solution, it can dissolve as Pb2 plus and Cl minus. However, lead chloride is not dissolved totally. Therefore, this has a equilibrium. When at the equilibrium, Ksp you can write down like this: Pb2 plus concentration into Cl minus concentration into the power 2. Now let's take distribution coefficient. Consider X is a chemical species which dissolve A phase and B phase. This is our equation, chemical equation. So therefore, consider this example. You have a beaker which contains two liquids. For example, think about it's water and petrol. They are not mixing each other. Therefore, you can have two layers. When you add X into these two, X can move to A phase and B phase. Therefore, X can exist in A and X can exist in B. Therefore, we call they are in phase equilibrium. Another example you can take as usual example when you can see in your environment. Think about a water glass. Here this contains water. As you know, carbon dioxide in the atmosphere can dissolve in the water. Therefore, we call carbon dioxide in aqueous. And here in the gaseous phase, you have carbon dioxide gas. So this carbon dioxide can exist in the aqueous solution and the gas phase. Therefore, they are in phase equilibrium. This kind of example, you can write down Kc value as Kc is equal X concentration in B divided by X concentration in A. So this kind of distribution value you can write down as Kd. We call dissociation constant. For the second example, you can write down Kd as carbon dioxide concentration gas and divide by carbon dioxide aqueous concentration. Therefore, you can write down this kind of distribution coefficient, and by taking the concentrations of both phases, you can get the values of Kd. Therefore, you can apply this Kd into unknown solutions also. Example: iodine in aqueous solution and CCl4 solution. You can write down Kd value for iodine in the aqueous solution divided by iodine in CCl4 solution. You can refer more to understand this kind of distribution coefficient, or we call partition coefficient. Next, we can consider Le Chatelier's principle. What is Le Chatelier principle state? When factors that influence an equilibrium are altered, the equilibrium will shift to a new position that tends to minimize those changes. To simplify that, when you do any condition change to the system which has in equilibrium, the system try to reduce that movement what you have done to reduce that changes. That is the basic idea given by the Le Chatelier's principle. Factors that influence to the equilibrium are concentration, temperature and partial pressure, and there are several factors, especially those three. But partial pressures consider only for gases. Others, concentration, can be considered only for liquid and gases, but in pure liquid, you know that concentrations are constant. But the temperature can be changed in every equilibriums. Now let's apply this Le Chatelier principle into examples. First, the effect of change in concentration. Let's consider this nitrogen and hydrogen to form ammonia. In industry we call this process as Haber process. You can write down Kc for this reaction given in the equation. So this right hand side part you can consider as Qc. Think when you increase the nitrogen or hydrogen concentration, increase the concentration, or you can increase the hydrogen concentration. If you increase those concentrations, that means definitely the bottom part will increase, therefore total value for Qc will decrease. Therefore at that moment Qc is higher than Kc. So therefore what should do in the system to control this reduction? As you know in Le Chatelier principle, what you have done to the system try to reduce that changes. Therefore system want to increase the Qc. Therefore system try to increase this Qc. How this Qc increase? As you know, now nitrogen and hydrogen increase. To increase that Qc value, you know that NH3 concentration also should increase. Therefore to become those increment, you know, the right hand side reaction should be taken. Therefore this reaction will be take place to forward direction. Therefore if you done these changes, forward reaction will occur to reach new equilibrium position. Then it become again to equal to Kc value. If you increase the NH3, let's consider opposite side. If you increase the NH3 value, now what happened to Qc? Then Qc, now this point Qc increase. Why? You increase the NH3 concentration. Then what happened? Now as you know Qc is higher than Kc. Now the system want to reduce this Qc. So then how this Qc reduce? By increasing nitrogen and hydrogen. Therefore backward reaction take place in the system to reduce the ammonia concentration and increase hydrogen and nitrogen concentration. Therefore in that point of condition, when you increase the ammonia concentration, backward reaction favored. What does reaction tell us? When Qc is equal Kc, the reaction is at equilibrium. But when you increase the product or decrease the reactants, you can increase Qc. Then when Qc increase, the backward reaction take place, and Qc lower than Kc, then the forward reaction take place to become new equilibrium. Then final target is to equal this Qc to Kc by forming new equilibrium. Now let's consider the effect of changes in temperatures. Here the same example. In this reaction, the forward direction reaction is exothermic. Exothermic means it produces energy when the forward reaction take place. Therefore in the system temperature will increase. If the temperature is increased by yourself, as you know, in the Le Chatelier's principles, the system try to reduce the temperature. Therefore, what will happen when you increase the temperature? The system want to decrease the temperature. Therefore, backward reaction take place. And if you decrease the temperature, what will happen? The system try to increase the temperature, as you know, in the Le Chatelier's principle. Therefore, the forward reaction will take place to increase the temperature in the system. Therefore, by increasing and decreasing the temperature, you can change the forward direction or to the backward direction. Therefore, in the industry, if you want to take high yield of ammonia, better to maintain this reaction in lower temperature condition. However, as you know, in kinetic chemistry, when the temperature decrease, the reaction rate will decrease. Therefore, you have to maintain an optimum condition to this kind of system to take better yield. Therefore, in the industry, they are using 450 degree of Celsius to get the optimum yield of product. Now let's discuss the effect of changes in pressure. Here let's go to the same example. When you increase the pressure, what will happen to this system? When your pressure increase, the system want to decrease the pressure. Therefore, you should know what is the best solution, whether it is forward direction or backward direction to reduce the pressure. You can get an idea. These all are gases. Therefore, in the left hand side, you have 3 plus 1, therefore 4 molecules. 4 molecules in left hand side and only 2 molecules in right hand side in this equation. Therefore, when the forward direction take place, that means decrease the number of molecules. Therefore, as you know, in gas equation, PV equal nRT. If you keep a same volume, if you decrease the number of molecules, means pressure decrease, and if you increase the number of molecule, means pressure increase. Therefore, when you increase the pressure, the system want to decrease the pressure. Therefore, forward direction take place. And if you decrease the pressure, what will happen? If you decrease the pressure, the system want to increase the pressure. Therefore, the opposite direction, the backward direction reaction take place to increase the number of molecules and to increase the pressure. Therefore, the backward reaction take place. As you know, in the industry, this kind of Haber process is done at very high pressure. Here normally in 15 to 25 megapascal range, because to get high yield, because we want to take forward direction to get high yield of ammonia. When ammonia process using Haber process, that is why they are using high pressure values. Now let's talk about how to calculate the equilibrium concentration using initial concentrations method. Consider the reaction hydrogen plus iodine into HI. Here, literature data, you can find out the Kc value for this reaction is 55.6 at the 425 degree of Celsius. At this temperature, if you carried out this reaction at the initial concentration of 0.1 mole per cubic decimeter for both hydrogen and iodine, then at the initial stage you don't have HI concentration. Therefore, if you take 0.1 m concentration of hydrogen and iodine, then you heat up this system into 425 degree of Celsius. What will happen? The reaction become an equilibrium. At the point where the reaction become equilibrium, you can calculate H2 and I2 and HI concentrations. How you calculate this one? First, you should know what are the initial value. As you know, initial value 0.1 for hydrogen concentration, 0.1 for iodine concentration, and 0 for HI concentration at the initial stage. But when you increase this container temperature up to 425 degree of Celsius, you assume that X molecules of hydrogen react and X molecules of iodine react. Then, as you know, definitely 2X molecules are formed in HI. Therefore, now at the equilibrium stage, you can calculate what are the concentration in 1 cubic decimeter volume. Hydrogen you have 0.1 minus X and iodine you have 0.1 minus X. Now you have 2X in HI. Therefore, you can apply this equilibrium concentration to Kc value. You can write down Kc for this equation as given equation. So then you can apply these concentration values what you have calculated using X. Therefore, you can substitute these X values into this Kc. Then you can take this equation and you know this value is equal to 55.6 as you know in the literature data. Then you can take the square root of both sides. Then you know that 2x divided by 0.1 minus x is equal to 7.46 by taking square root of the both sides. Then you can calculate the x value. Easily you can calculate the x values. Therefore, x is equal 0.0789. That is the x value calculated using your example. Therefore, hydrogen and iodine concentration you can take by reducing 0.1 minus x. Then using that equation 0.1 minus x, you know now 0.1 is the initial concentration and x you can obtain, and 0.1 minus 0.0789 is equal to 0.0211. That is the concentration of hydrogen and iodine at the equilibrium stage, and HI concentration is 0.158 mole per cubic decimeter. Thank you very much for listening to the lecture, and you can refer different kind of equilibrium system in different sources and learn more, and those are very important when you are applying the equilibrium into the industrial process. Thank you.